Well, a new season starts, and it is going to be starting tomorrow for Liverpool on Saturday when we come up against Norwich. It kicks off on Friday night with Arsenal versus Brentford, which should be a good, entertaining game, I think. Maybe not for Arsenal fans, but that's just, yeah, hey, never mind. We're talking about Liverpool anyway, and I'm really excited for the new season to start. Honestly, it really feels like there's just not been much to really focus on in terms of like things to watch and stuff to support and get behind and get passionate behind. There hasn't been anything since the Euros, and I wasn't heavily invested in the Euros myself, so I've really been waiting for Liverpool to come back, and I really can't wait for it. Really cannot wait for the new season to start, and I hope that all of you guys are doing really, really well and looking forward to Liverpool playing as well. Try and take your minds off any of the transfer issues that you might have or what you might be thinking. Put them on the back burner for now because we've got a game coming up tomorrow, and for me, it's a big game because it's the first game, and you wanna come into the season and lay down a marker of what you're gonna try and do for the rest of the season, and I sorely hope that Liverpool are going to go on and do that. So let me know what you think in the comments below about this game and about Liverpool for the season ahead. How do you think it's going to go down for Liverpool? Is it going to be a good season? Is it going to be like middle of the road, or is it going to be a bit like last season, which had, you know, some really good highs, some devastating lows, a lot of losses in terms of injury and stuff like that, which hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get through that. I really hope so anyway. But let me know what you think anyway, and we're going to go through. What we're going to do is we're going to go through a bit of Sofa Score. So we're going to look at their lineup, look at what they're predicting our lineup will be. We're going to go through the press conference that Jurgen Klopp has done today, which, from what I've heard, has got some interesting moments in it as well that we can talk about during the video. And then also I'll give you my lineup and then score prediction, how I think the game will go down as well. So, and feel free to let me know if you agree or disagree, whatever it is. Feel free to let me know it. Now, we move on to Sofa Score, and this is the predicted lineups, or possible lineups, for us tomorrow. For us and Norwich, I should say. And really, we've only got two absentees. Got Curtis Jones and Andy Robertson out. These guys have got a couple of players that are out and could be doubts as well. Todd Cantwell being a doubt there, included in the prediction though. Players that we know. Players that I know from Norwich, because I will be probably come off a little bit ignorant here, but I don't know a great deal of Norwich's players. But obviously we know Timu Pukki, Todd Cantwell, Billy Gilmore played for Chelsea as well. I think he's on loan, from what I remember. I think it is a loan. Max Aaron's at right back, Tim Krul as well, and obviously they've got maybe a couple of injuries as well. This is the predicted lineup for SofaScore for Liverpool. It's not, mine's slightly different, but not entirely different. I think I've actually only got one difference, and it's in defence. But really, if this lineup came out tomorrow, I'd be pretty happy with it. I really would. I think it's a little bit too soon to get Jordan Henderson involved. We could see Oxlade-Chamberlain in there as well, who has performed really well in pre-season as well. But I think the biggest thing for us, especially at the start of the season, is just, especially how last season went, is having options to choose from. So, you know, we've talked before about when we had two different starting 11s in pre-season on one day, and if either of those starting 11s came out, you'd be pretty happy with it, with maybe like one or two changes here or there if you could make them. But I would be well happy. I'd be excited to see this. How exciting is it going to see all of the guys that were injured, to maybe see them play, to see Virgil van Dijk? Obviously that's one that we're so excited for. You know, Joe Gomez as well though, Joel Matip, you know, and then getting Tsimikas in at left back as well. It'll put a little bit of fear into some people, because obviously Andy Robertson is a machine. He's going to be missing for a couple of weeks, but Tsimikas has actually been really good in pre-season. Actually got an assist, a nice, lovely crossed assist to Firmino in, I think it was the last game that we played, and Firmino scored 3. And yeah, he looks like a really bright prospect as well. You wouldn't be surprised at any of the front three. You wouldn't be surprised at that midfield. You really wouldn't be. There's only maybe slight changes that could happen. Like Firmino could come in, or Minamino might come in. But I think while everyone's fit and firing at the moment, I think we need to strike while the iron's hot and put points on the board. Maybe a good score as well, if we can do that. But really, it's about getting good points on the board early on. And maybe setting down a bit of a marker. That's what I'm looking for anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would your lineup differ to any of that at all? Do feel free to let me know. Now we're going to look at Jurgen Klopp's press conference over here. And I think from what I've seen briefly when I clicked on here, looks like there's some interesting comments as well. But it's just great to see that man's big old smile. It really, really is. So we'll click into this thread because it's actually quite lengthy. Van Dijk getting a new deal was absolutely massive, and all the guys that have got new deals is huge, really, really huge. I know getting a brand new shiny transfer is always like one of those things that's really exciting, and that's what people are looking for. And I think we should be looking for more like forward line support rather than midfield support. That's just my opinion. Anyway, I think we need a bit more rotation up front. But getting these guys on new deals is a good thing. It really is a good thing. Lengthy deals as well. I think most of them up to 2025 or something like that as well. So you're getting a good amount of time on these, and right into his prime years with Van Dijk as well. Same with Alisson. Same with all of them. To be fair, they're going to spend most of their prime years with us. It's fantastic. It really is. The friendlies are over, playing for points. All the players are here. There's no major issues apart from Robbo and Curtis, which we know about anyway. And then we're going to go up into the other thread. Where is the other thread? I think someone... Oh, spending. It's an interesting one. Klopp on team spending, despite the pandemic financial impact. These clubs don't depend on these kind of things like City, Chelsea, PSG. They don't live in the same world. They don't live in the same realm of money that like Liverpool do. And we are a wealthy club in some ways, but not on that level. Nowhere near. As he says, we have our way and we do it. We are allowed to spend money, and that's what we always did. So I don't really understand why people are surprised when Liverpool aren't going out there and blasting 100 million on one or two players or something like that. Because this is what we've always done. We've bought when we've earned, and people keep going back to look at we were willing to spend money on Van Dijk and Alisson, but everybody understands that money literally came from the Coutinho money. So it doesn't really make sense when people bring that up. We've got a really good squad together. We should be in a better situation than last year. Injuries crippled us last year, so if we can stay relatively injury free, we should have a much better season. Pretty sure that Van Dijk could have played 90 minutes in the last game. We just didn't try it, so he's available for selection. Klopp on signing to replace Wijnaldum. I think this is where it got a little bit tasty. You tell me if you would sign a midfielder. You tell me a name, and I would think about it. Most people will reach for Renato Sanchez or what's his name? Florian Neuhaus, is it? It's not Newman. I don't think. I think it's Neuhaus. Something like that. People will start throwing out names like that. You tell me which player we need. I'm really interested. I'm not annoyed. Should he score more goals than Genie? Should he be more creative than Naby, Ox and Harvey? Our midfielder, they have to do different jobs. We have to set up. You see with our fullbacks, it's about different positioning. I think our fans appreciate that we have a group together who fight together, who is definitely 100% committed to the club, the values of the club. We have that. We just cannot justify... we cannot just add on players and say, let's have a look at how that works. We cannot compare to other clubs. They don't have limits. We have limits, but we have been successful within our limits in the last few years. We cannot spend money that we don't have. So, a lot of people are reading into that and saying that the club aren't willing to back Jurgen Klopp. And it's hard to ignore the fact that it does sound a little bit like that. It really, really does. Am I disappointed in that? A little bit, because I do genuinely think that we do need at least one more player to come in. It's great getting Konate. It really is great getting Konate because it means that we've got options. But at the same time, I still feel that our forward line needs supplementation. But also, I agree that the midfield needs supplementation as well in regards to, I know you can't prepare for it, but if injuries happen in midfield and we see that Oxlade-Chamberlain gets injured quite a bit, Naby Keita gets injured even more, and they're both really good players. Fabinho, sometimes when he gets an injury, it just seems like he takes forever to recover from it, and he seems to have at least one a season-ish. I might be wrong on his first season here. It took a bit of a time to get bed into the team, but those guys aren't invulnerable to getting injured, and we obviously saw what happened with Henderson as well. Obviously Milner's the marathon man, but he's not going to last forever. I understand it. I think that one signing should come in, and it should, if anything, be in midfield or in the forward line, but I genuinely don't think that's going to happen. I really, really don't, and that will disappoint a fair few people. I just don't think it's going to happen, and I haven't thought it's going to happen since the Euros ended, maybe about a week after the Euros ended. Because if we were going to do anything, we would have struck while the iron was hot. The Euros would have ended, and like the next day or the next day or two, Liverpool would have announced something. They would have announced something. They're not going to do like I don't see deadline day business for Liverpool. I don't see it, and I don't think it will happen. But maybe that's just me trying to be realistic as well. I'm not entirely sure. Right, what I want to get into is we're just going to go back and look at their predicted lineup. Not really much changes, I will admit, but this is the lineup that I'm going for. That I picked on. I can't remember what website I used for it. Actually, to be fair, what's it called? Createformation.com. Good website, very very simple, and a really nice one to look at as well. So createformation.com. And this is where I've got this from. Now, my only change is having Konate in instead of... I think it's the only change anyway. Let me just have a quick look here. Oh no, it's got Naby Keita in there, and I've got Thiago. Yeah, you probably could put Naby Keita in there as well. Wouldn't be disappointed either way. Honestly, whichever 11 that we went for, I'd be happy to do. I'd be happy to go with it. I really would. My front line is the exact same. And I just think it's going to be that way because Firmino's looked sharp in pre-season, but he's not been back a great deal. Where I think Jota has put in a lot of work. He again himself looks really sharp. Mane's looking sharp. Salah's looking sharp. It's the key word right now is just sharp. And we've looked good. We have. The only reason that I'm going with Konate, I feel he's had more of a worthwhile pre-season than Matip has. If Matip or Gomez makes it, then fair play. Whichever centre-back that we go with, I'm happy with. Honestly, even if we had to go with like Nat Phillips and stuff like that, I'd go with it. If we can have the only one that I'm not entirely convinced will start the game is Van Dijk. Yes, he said he could go 90 minutes, they just didn't try it. It would have been great to see him play 90 minutes in pre-season, injury-free, playing well. Whenever he's played in pre-season so far, apart from the first game that he came back, but he hadn't played in like 9 or 10 months. But after that, he started to look like the Van Dijk that we know, the Colossus, the absolute incredible defender that he is. That's what he started to look like. I'm just not entirely sure whether Van Dijk's going to start, but I'm gonna put my chips on the table and say that it's going to be Van Dijk in defence, and I'm going to put Konate next to him because I just think that Konate's had a really good pre-season, and you know what? I'm being honest. I want to see Konate play. I really do, and I want it to be in the opening day of the season. Maybe that's a little bit like, well, it's about the team and all that sort of stuff. I genuinely think that Konate could have a good game against Norwich. I've got no reason to believe why he wouldn't. Trent and Tsimikas as your fullbacks as well. Obviously, Robertson's not going to be involved in this game due to that injury, and we could see a lot of Tsimikas. And if you haven't seen Tsimikas play in pre-season, honestly, and I know it's only pre-season, it's not full competitive games, but he was very, very good. He looked a lot better than he has whenever he's made substitute appearances, for Liverpool last season. He's now got a chance. It's not going to be straightforward to sort of like dislodge Andy Robertson. That's not what we're looking to do. But to be like an absolute competitor for that left back position, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Fabinho, Thiago, Milner in midfield speaks for itself. I've got no issue with it whatsoever. You've got the hard work of everybody, but the harder work of James Milner. The defensive capabilities of Fabinho that are unmatched, in my opinion. Probably apart from Kante, obviously, and then Thiago is just the way he played in the last couple of weeks, maybe the last couple of months for Liverpool last season. I'm so surprised he wasn't involved more in the Euro squad for Spain. If he carries that form in for this season for us, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful of what we could do, and then the front line is just magic on its own. I absolutely love that front line as well. Now, let me know what you think in the comments below about your lineup. Who would you bring in? Would you risk it and play Firmino, or would you risk it and play someone else? Whoever else you might put in. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, in terms of scoreline, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I would love us to keep a clean sheet. I would love us to be able to keep a clean sheet. If we can have anywhere near The predicted lineup I had, with like that back line with Van Dijk involved, with Konate, could be Joe Gomez, could be Joel Matip and Alisson in there as well. I'd love a clean sheet. I really would love a clean sheet. I think that Norwich are going to come into this game fearless like they did last time, and they're going to play, they're going to try and play fluid football, passing football along the floor, quick, successive passes, passing and moving. They're going to try and do that. We're going to play our game, which is going to be to press the hell out of the opposition and move as quickly and aggressively as we can. And with the likes of a Virgil van Dijk, a Gomez, a Konate and stuff like that, possibly in the back line, that high line of Liverpool could start to return and make it difficult, because you've got guys that can get back, you've got guys that can run, whereas we didn't have that for a lot of the season last year. Having that option back and being able to put that high press into action could prove beneficial for Liverpool. I'm going to go for 3-1 Liverpool. That's what I'm going for. I'm going 3-1 Liverpool, and I think that we're going to win our very first game of the Premier League season. Can we keep a clean sheet? I think that we can, but I'm just erring on the side of caution. 3-1 to Liverpool, and that's how I think that we start off our Premier League campaign tomorrow on Saturday. Cannot wait for it to all kick back. Listen, it's been fantastic making this video and talking to you all once again, and to get back into making regular content. I cannot wait this season. Whatever happens, I'm looking forward to whatever happens in this season. I'm just looking forward to watching Liverpool once again. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Please do get your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will catch you later.